All right. Time now for our weekly rants and raves, and I'm going to start with Dan.
I have a rave for the Boston Globe and its owner, John Henry. I wrote about this for WGBH News earlier today.
On our website.
On the website here. The Globe and the Washington Post, and maybe to a lesser extent the Wall Street Journal, excuse me, are showing that the way to get out of the morass in which the newspaper industry finds itself is to invest your way out, to try to grow your way out. And what the Globe has done this week, and it's just the latest in a series of ventures they've done, is they've unveiled a new weekly political section called Capital, in print and online. It's full of stuff. It has ads that they might not otherwise get, so there's revenue attached to it, and good for them.
We should do a media section too. All right, who's next? Kelly.
I have a rant for the Heritage Foundation, which no doubt at this moment is applying for press credentials for its new news site called the Daily Signal. So the Heritage Foundation is a conservative leaning foundation. The job of the foundation is to pull together research and researchers and analysts that are looking at the big issues of the day with a conservative viewpoint. Fine. All of us who go there should understand that. And we're talking about very competent people who that's their job. They just have a particular perspective. But they really claim that this Daily Signal is straight news. We're not putting our emphasis on it, which is ridiculous. And you look at what they've put out already, and it's obviously has a bent to it. Just do what you do. And, you know, if you want to say it's newsier, you know, make shorter stories. I don't know. I don't have a problem with them hiring Cheryl Atkinson, as they did, to do a piece, but say we're going to take different forms of the information that we already support in our perspective and put that out there. Okay, but to call it straight news, come on.
If they said we are conservative, we have a filter on the kinds of stories we're interested in, it would be totally fine. And I will say it's actually interesting. Heritage under Jim DeMint has moved a little bit to the Tea Party side. It's a very respectable looking website. It's clearly a conservative website, but compared to the other conservative websites that need to make money by selling ads, they look a lot more middle of the road.
All right, Josh, what do you got?
Not enough bank
My rave is for a Ukrainian website, the first, I think, Ukrainian website rave in the history of Beat the Press, stopfake.org. 3 months ago, when things were heating up there in the Crimea, a group of young journalists and alums of a particular journalism school there decided they were seeing a lot of Russian propaganda, a lot of misinformation, photos that were supposedly of one thing but were actually of another. They decided to get together and start this website, which is essentially like a PolitiFact, but instead of evaluating politician statements, they're evaluating the things that get spread through social media. Pictures of atrocities that are actually from Syria, that are not from the Ukraine, that sort of thing. In less than 3 months, they've built up to having about 1.5 million unique visitors per month, which is a very big audience in a relatively smaller country compared to the United States. So they're doing good work, and they deserve a rave.
All right, that sounds good. All right, well, I have a rave for, of all organizations, the National Weather Service, which figured out a creative use of its Doppler radar system. Take a look.
The National Weather Service was seeing blobs on the radar that looked like storms over the city. They weren't storms, they were swarms of grasshoppers.
Grasshoppers. We would call those locusts, and they were a mile deep. A mile high and a mile deep, and they look like storm bursts, and the wind is carrying them. Those long streams they're above Albuquerque. Those long streams are, you know, locusts being pushed by the jet stream or whatever it is. But I thought that was fascinating. I just stumbled across.
I live in New England.
I stumbled across that by mistake, but I thought this is fascinating.
Does that mean it's actually end times? I mean, we're getting plagues of locusts.
It's biblical.
It's very biblical.
I just want them to know that it's bees and not storms or whatever. You know,
They call them grasshoppers. I looked that up. No, we would call them locusts. For sure.
Okay.